Now, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. So is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Moving on to presentations, proclamations, and visitors. Are there any visitors signed up to speak?
No, but we have one on Zoom.
We have one visitor signed up to speak on Zoom?
No, there's not a visitor.
Okay. So moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The consent
Aye.
agenda. Oh, there we go. Consent agenda.
Sorry,
is
there's a bit of a
approved
lag.
unanimously. Moving on to public hearings. We have no public hearings tonight. We have no old business. Moving on to item 6A, Budget Committee applications. We invite Ron to present information.
Yeah, so in your packet are the two applications for our budget committee members. I believe one person, both were invited to the meeting tonight. One person did show up. I believe he's in the audience, and if you had questions, you're welcome to, I think he could go up to the podium and answer, but his application looks like he's got some financial experience and probably will understand what we're talking about.
I'm going to say your last name wrong. Keck. Mr. Keck, would you like to talk to your application, or do you just want us to deliberate? Okay. All right.
Do we have more than one opening? Sorry.
Yeah, we do. We have more than one.
Okay.
Remember, we had another one
On the back here.
that we asked for more information and to invite them back so that you guys could talk.
And did anybody ever get back?
Yeah. Ron just said that they were both invited and he did not show up. So, and with that first application that we had last meeting, I believe there was just some concerns about the lack of information on the application. I know that I myself did not feel comfortable with appointment at the time. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, I still do not, if they can't show up.
If recall on the page for budget committee openings, it says no experience. So I feel like this person probably doesn't, but they want to feel like they contribute.
It does say no experience necessary, but I think also when you apply for something, you should put effort into it. And so that was my concern with the application. I think that's what Doug.
That's how most of us felt, and not showing up after being invited and asked to come is another indication that if we appoint them, will they come to the meetings? So,
Will they participate?
Okay.
Unless they work at Amazon, they might be at work, but there's two openings, right? So
Well, they were invited to attend or to call. Correct? So if they had to work, they could have called and spoke to someone.
okay, so we can go with the one from last meeting, am I hearing correctly? There's a consensus not to appoint from, there's only a first name on here, Cheyenne. That what the
Correct.
consensus? Okay.
Correct
So we're
on
not
that.
gonna appoint with, our previous applicant, Ron?
Well, what would have to happen here is, there's two appointments.
Mhm.
And so typically the way that it would happen is you would bring the first application forward for a vote.
Okay,
If somebody made a motion and there was a second, then we'd follow through for a vote. If nobody makes a motion, then it just
just
dies.
dies. All right.
If somebody makes a motion and nobody seconds, it just dies. So that typically we would want you to go through the process of
Okay.
either seeing if it gets a vote or not gets a vote.
All right. Is there a motion regarding the first applicant from last meeting? The only name on this application is Cheyenne. There is no motion. Moving on to our second application. We have him present here. Is there any questions that you would like to ask the applicant? Anybody? All right, is there any deliberation that you guys wish to have? None, okay. Is there a motion to appoint?
I move to appoint David W. Keck to the Budget Committee.
Second.
All right, we have a second. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did we get both online? So, motion passes unanimously. Welcome to the Budget Committee. Thank you. Okay.
And since
Thank
we
you.
have those appointments and we have a new member in the audience, you'll get some information from Josh Hoyer, who's our finance officer. We do have a budget calendar, but your new member orientation, I do a public question and answer session, but I couple that as a new member orientation. And that's the week before our first budget meeting. So that will be May 5th at 6 p.m. right here. So May 5th at 6 p.m., but you will get an email.
Let's move on to agenda item 6B. The 2025 TMDL report and matrix update. We invite Matt Etzel to provide information.
All right, thank you. Matt Etzel, Assistant Public Works Director. Before council is our updated 2025 TMDL matrix. The TMDL is total mass daily load requirements from DEQ for stormwater. Included in the packet, our staff report, we give kind of an overview of the matrix since it's not super friendly to read. And then we submit that to DEQ, and then we submit the matrix as well. That's the reporting requirement that we have to do every year. Some of the categories that you'll see are bacteria, mercury, temperature. Some of these are pretty easy to achieve for the city. We'll send out newsletter articles or create coloring contests to get people kind of engaged in stormwater and looking at our city website. Others are more difficult. We recently received notice that DEQ has changed some temperature requirements, and we're going to have to do some additional work as part of that. This is kind of a moving goalpost, as most things are with regulatory stuff, but we're working with some folks from the county who also have this requirement, and we're going to kind of work together. Several local agencies are going to work together to try to achieve some of the temperature requirements. So I think that's a good thing. Some of the key points are the newsletter articles, us being a Tree City USA, that's a great thing for temperature. It adds shade and around the community, and that we can count towards this TMDL as part of our requirement. normal operating tasks like street sweeping and clean catch basins. Those are things that we report on the TMDL matrix. A couple of the things in the future, pretty soon future, are we have drafted a stormwater ordinance. We've been working for a couple years on that, on and off, and we've had the DEQ representative review it. We've had the city legal counsel review it, and we're about ready to bring it to council for your review. That was one of the key pieces of this new matrix that we got for this reporting cycle, was that we came up with an ordinance for stormwater that had enforcement penalties, so that if someone is polluting water, that we can, as a city, we can stop that. That's kind of the main one. With the new temperature requirements, there's also a riparian protection narrative that they would like to see the city adopt, and my thought was to include that into the stormwater ordinance. It's tied together, and so that's the last piece that we need to add into the ordinance, and then we'll bring that to council for review. As always, funding is a struggle. We take money from the general fund and the street fund, parks, to fund the stormwater projects, because a lot of the stormwater projects are in the parks because we have creeks that run through our parks. They're in the streets because we have street sweeping and street trees. But we really should have a funding in our matrix. It asks us to come up with a funding source for TMDL stormwater projects.
And I can add to that just real quick, if it's
Yeah,
okay, Matt.
yeah.
So that's also part of state budget law. We have to, the stormwater utility, once we adopt the ordinance, becomes a utility for the city, just like water and sewer. And how we appropriate those funds through enterprise operations are required under state budget law. Just like we can't take money from water and pay for streets or parks or something, we can't. Once we adopt that utility, we'll have to align some sort of a funding matrix to it. Now, what we can do is we can cost share it out, and we can say a certain amount of this stormwater work is related to streets and parks. So we're not anticipating a huge utility charge, but there will have to be something. We're anticipating starting off with a very small nominal utility charge, but just FYI for council.
We also added it to the SDC's methodology this last year. So there is some SDC money that is going towards stormwater now. It's a small fraction, but it's a start, and we can report on that as well as a source of funding for these projects. But happy to answer any questions if you guys have them.
I don't have any questions. Anyone else? Thank you, Matt.
No, thank you, Matt.
Moving on to item 6C, standard operating procedures for the city administrator evaluation and the Corn Festival Parade.
Yeah, council has spent some time going over these, and we also discussed these at our last retreat. And I believe city staff incorporated the comments and changes requested by council in both. And I can talk about these separately. So I'll start with the CA. I think it's for CA evaluation process. What I did in there, because there were some comments about including a calendar, is I went ahead and I included a calendar with some dates. But I also say that the lead evaluator can work with the city administrator. These are fixed dates, and year after year, that may not align with some of the things that we're doing. So in this process, towards the end of the year, in November, December, the council president, if they're the person doing the evaluation, will meet with the city administrator. We'll go over the form and the schedules for the following year. that's when we could update the budget calendar. And then we don't really need to update it in the SOP. It's intended to be for reference. It says that. But we can update council as to what that calendar is going to look like. But the intent of this is to give you, council members that are completing evaluation forms, a target so that you know that when you get the evaluation form, you're going to have a week or 2 weeks or however long that is to complete it and get it back to the council president. That way, his or her, whoever that happens to be at the time, their work is not waiting for one person. So, and that was really, I think, the only other change that we made other than some grammatical changes. The SOP for the parade is strictly what you wanted us to do, and that was to separate the judging portion of the parade from the parade organizing and lineup and all of that other stuff. Registration will be done by whomever's volunteering to lead that effort. The trophies and candy and judging sheets and all of that will be put in a separate container, and the mayor will either take the lead or appoint somebody, depending on the year and her availability or his availability, whoever's mayor in the future. Otherwise, it remains the same as discussed. And if we find, we got to kind of have a starting place. And my thought was, if we find something that isn't workable in both of these standard operating procedures, we can bring them back to council for an amendment in the future, just like we would do with others. If you're ready to adopt these, however, it would just simply be a motion to approve, and they would be separate motions, a motion for each.
So I really appreciate the guidelines, especially, well, for both. I mean, I appreciate the guidelines and the dates, and like you said, they're negotiable, so I appreciate that. I would definitely move to accept the SOP for the city administrator evaluation process. Sorry, I don't have my script here.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. So the next one would be the parade.
I
Is
would
there-
also make a motion to pass the SOP for the parade and the parade guidelines. I think that'll be really helpful, just for everybody participating to understand what their role is and clarify it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Before we vote, I just want to ask a question. So the way that this is set up, Ron, is this where we would have to announce a public meeting because we'll be there?
What staff would do as part of the SOP is we would advertise the Corn Festival as a public meeting. Just in the event that 2 or 3 of you were to get together and talk about a parade entry or some other thing related to the parade, we've just covered ourselves that we've advertised it as a public meeting. And we would do that at the time of the parade. So we would do it from the time of judging starts. We have to give a date and a time and a
Yeah.
location. So we would just put that time period in there. And then if you got together and talked about a parade entry or some other thing that somebody would consider city business, I don't know that would technically meet the criteria, but we just wanted to cover ourselves.
Okay.
So we would simply advertise it that way.
All better safe than sorry.
Yes. Okay, so we have a first and a second, and we had questions. Is there, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Yay. Actually, guys, I'm really excited about that because we are not in these positions forever. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I've noticed even when I came on council was that there was just a lot of things that were passed down in people's heads. And this is just the way that it was done. And there wasn't a procedure outlined. So if and when we leave these positions, it's nice to have something down to fall back on.
Yes, I'll second that too.
All right, moving on to item number 7, city administrator report.
Yeah, I just have a couple of things. I'll try to go through them fairly quick. Just a reminder that you'll be getting your budget calendar out pretty soon. I believe we should have packets distributed by May 1st to council. May 5th is I customarily do a community question and answer session where people aren't intimidated by a formal meeting hearing process. And I also couple that with new council orientation. And we'll push that out through our social media invites if anybody wants to come and participate. I will tell you, few people typically come to participate or ask questions, but I'm going to be here anyway, and I'm happy to answer those. It's just something I just feel like it's important to do so people, well, one is we don't want to deal with stuff that's easy to answer at the budget hearing because it just then creates additional meetings. Typically, our budget hearing is one meeting. And so hopefully by putting out this invitation, if somebody just has a crazy question about how do the funds work or where does the money go or something like that, they can come and get those questions answered without disrupting that more formal process. So we'll be here. Again, that's at 6 o'clock. Our budget committee meeting started 7, but I do that pre-budget workshop at 6. Heiberger Park improvements, they're done. We're working on a few punch list items out there. We did have our grand opening, even though I think it was the wettest day in the last 4 months. For some reason, we had, I thought, fairly good attendance out there. I don't know, 25 people or so. A lot of them were people that were involved in the project. And a lot of them were excited about it. So it was great. There's a CIS training that department heads are going to go to on April 23rd. And so I think it's about a full day, almost a full day training. But a number of us will be out for that. Our emergency generator arrived today. I put pictures on your desk. I'll send you guys pictures if you want to see them, Scott and Doug. Matt says it weighs 20, did you say 21,000 pounds?
That's
That is a
crazy.
heavy
That's
little
crazy.
trailer.
That little thing right there.
But I suppose they're built for,
Hey, did you get one here?
You gonna logo it up, Matt? You put Aumsville on there?
It has fire stuff on.
Can it power the electric truck that's pulling it?
and then some.
That's awesome.
I did contact Cascade School District related to our bicycle rack project, and they have been interacting with me. They're putting together some quotes and a timeline, and I'll come back and talk to you about that. I also did contact our landscape architect about putting some renderings together for a few of the park projects that we want to go out and participate in grant applications for. That's the first stage to be able to put together a grant application, is some detailed renderings with a little bit more specific so we can come up with cost estimates. Circus tickets are on sale for everybody who wants to attend. They're at City Hall right now. We do have a limited number of children tickets, again, sponsored this year. So right now, children tickets are free. But we'll run out of those, I think, fairly quickly. And then for council, your statement of economic interest filing is due Wednesday. So if you haven't done that and you need help
I haven't
with
done it.
that, okay. Let me know if you need assistance because we do need to get those done. If you don't, they'll send you
I did find out that if you need help, you can actually call
Oh.
and do it over the phone too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
You can
And
also
then-
just do it just like the last year's one. I mean, it's pretty simple, just trying to redo it.
Yeah.
Unless something's changed.
Yeah. And your last year's form should be available online, so you can just, nothing's changed, you're right. It's pretty easy. And then we did set some goals related to this year in the retreat. However, we didn't get to actually go through the goal slides and add those in and see if there were any other things to add in there. And so I'm wondering if council would like to do a follow-up meeting. I've projected a date as May 4th, but that doesn't have to be the date. It just, sometimes it's easier to set a date. And my thought was, we could just do it in the evening, start at 6 and do a couple hours or something like that.
I already have a meeting that night.
Okay,
I would be interested in a follow-up meeting. Just let me bring out the calendar.
And a soup.
I'll send out some dates.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be better.
Okay, I'll send
It
out
was
some
May
dates.
4th. That's one you can't do.
Yeah.
All right.
Ron,
Just respond to the email when we send out a few dates, okay? Because
I can tell you, starting in May, I'm available on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, okay?
And I'm off the 5th through the 7th. So not working.
So
So I have time those 3 days. Like
the 6th
The
is a
5th
Wednesday.
yeah.
May 6th is a Wednesday.
May
Does that
6th.
work for everybody?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, well, let's tentatively set it for May 6th at 6 PM. We'll provide pizza and some salad or something for you so you don't get hungry and lose thoughts while we're trying to talk about goals. And then
You don't want us hangry,
yeah, we don't want you hangry is right.
6 o'clock.
not while we're talking about evaluations.
And then we'll send out a reminder email to everybody. All right, and then just a couple of other things. I know the council had asked a number of questions in that retreat. One of the questions that came up was in our mutual aid contracts with other cities. We tend to help out other cities. They tend to help out us. And you wanted us to track that or put a number to that. We've included that at the bottom of the police reports, so that'll be included there. We did break it out, although it took a little staff time to break out the calls. We may, if it's easy to break it out, we'll do that, but it may just be a number like joint agencies helped us this many times. And then, of course, in the report, it says how many times we've helped out joint agencies. But as you can see, we do help them out and they do help us out. So it is reciprocal. And the Public Works report is in your packet. I don't think that there's anything in there that is earth-shattering, except they're busy every day and doing good work, as you can tell. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Where did you say that part was at? Is it not in there yet?
It's
or
at
is
the
it-
very, very, very bottom underneath the boxes. It's a little bullet point. It says other agencies assisting
Oh,
also police
got it.
department.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thanks for getting that done. I think that gives a better full scope of what's going on.
Years ago, our assisting other agencies was quite high because agencies would use, some agencies that were short on staffing would basically use us as an extension of their staffing, and we eliminated that through just some of our restructuring in the city. And so what we did was we adopted some policies that said, we'll come out and assist, but the call has to meet a number of criteria. Assist does not mean, we're necessarily going to take over,
Yeah,
your dog
assist doesn't
barking
mean do it.
calls and and things of that nature. Now,
means
if there's
help, not
nobody
do.
on duty, obviously, and there's a call, even if it doesn't meet one of our criteria, we will go, but the volume has shrunk. It used to be 40, 50 calls a month, and as you can see, it's 10 to 15, so.
Is that it for your report, Ron?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving on to mayor and councilor reports. Does anyone have anything to report?
I
I do
attended
not.
the MWAC meeting in Silverton. So because MWAC is now run by ODOT instead of Council of Governments, we don't have a specific building to meet in anymore. So we got to, with the new format, they have 15 to 20 minutes to talk about their city and traffic issues or things. And one of the things they talked to us about was that they have pedestrian flags. And I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they have little cups on a pole on either side of a crosswalk, and you take a flag and wave it when you're starting to cross so that cars stop because they can see you're doing something and they know you're crossing the street. So you carry it across and leave it in a cup on the other side.
And see kids stealing those.
You know, they said in the 6 months they've been doing it, they've not had a single flag stolen.
Awesome.
And they're near schools, but the kids like them.
Mm.
And they did a training at the school before they started it to explain to the kids what they are. And there are several other cities doing them, and they said none of them have had any complaints with it.
That's, has been around a long time, and traditionally that has been the issue, is either through vandalism, not the kids using it, but
Yeah,
people running around looking for things to do at night. So that has been historically the problem.
and
Or they all get stuck on the wrong side of the street or the same side of the street.
That does.
They did mention that the city employees tend to swing by and adjust those as needed, both the police and the public works and stuff, but they said it's not real often that that happens. And they are going to be coming here in June for the meeting. We will have an opportunity. I already talked to Ron and Matt and Steve about getting something ready and having a nice presentation for ours.
I attended my first meeting as a director on the Oregon Mayors Association. It's kind of like a branch off from the League of Oregon Cities. It was really interesting. I definitely feel like a small fish in a bigger pond, but it was good to hear how, as cities, you know, we typically are fighting all for the same money, the same funding, and we're trying to figure out what do we do when we have opposing opinions across the state, but we still need to voice our concerns, especially when we disagree. So that was interesting, but I think most of that stuff is going to be happening through the conferences and things like that. We do have a conference coming up for the spring. I don't know who's registered.
You.
Just me? Really? I thought we had someone else.
I was, but I had to cancel because of a work issue. Sorry.
All right, that kind of makes me sad. But yeah, so I guess it's just me in Pendleton. I'll go tour the wool factory on my lunch.
You in Pendleton, totally unsupervised.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything for good of the order? Oh,
I might get asked a question about something.
yeah.
This has to do with the evaluations,
Oh.
going back to that, and did we ever complete the last one? Did we get a final and approve it? I don't recall that we did for previous years.
Yes, we did.
Good.
We did.
So we're not behind.
So then are we now in process of getting the new evaluation?
Well, we don't, so we should have done, if we were gonna be on track, we should have done another evaluation already, but we identified that we identified a lot of problems with the system, and we still haven't even set goals for Ron. So there won't be an evaluation right now. So we'll come back and set goals, and then next year on the new timeline, we can base that evaluation off the goals that we set.
And as I understood it, we haven't done an evaluation for 25. That would have been in this cycle this month. We wanted to get the evaluation process in place. But when we complete the evaluation in January next year, it will encompass 25 and 26. So it'll encompass the goals that we set in 25, which we completed, and those things that I reported at the State of the City in January. And it'll also encompass goals that you're setting right now, keeping in mind that it's progress towards those goals, because a lot of times the goals straddle multiple years, right? So it's basically, it'll be another 2-year evaluation, as I understood it. And yes, the process did not maybe work as we would have liked it to, so that it did have a conclusion at the end. But we're gonna tidy all that up with this new SOP.
Yeah, and I think we spent our time.
That?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's
the
when
ma-
we're doing the
That's
goals.
when we will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the May 6th meeting, we're gonna set goals. And then at the end of the year, January, those goals are what we will evaluate for this year that we're in right now. Right? And then we're also going to catch up. We're gonna talk about what we should have been evaluating and be done with this year.
Right. Okay.
So one of the things we do need for the file, and I don't know if Doug has all of these or if you still have those individually, but those members that did complete a form, we do need a copy of those for the file, but I'll make sure that the master form, the one that is completed that I signed, is sent out to all the council via email, just so that you can get it and read it. I do believe we did bring it back to the council meeting for final approval.
Yeah, we did.
We
I'll
did.
send it
We
out
did.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We did. And I think also to add, I think the most important part, not maybe the most important, one of the really important parts we learned from this process is that it really comes down to our individual communication with Ron. So if there's a question or concern, you can take that to Ron anytime. That's not what we wait to bring our concerns forward just through the evaluation process.
Exactly.
Just to throw that in there.
I think this SOP, excellent document to start.
Agreed.
Really spells it out. So, okay, thank you.
all right, there are no correspondence. And what time is it? We can adjourn the meeting at 7:40 PM.
Mayor,
Oh.
we're going to go into an executive session
Oh, we are?
for
Okay.
approximately
Right there.
15.
None, but then it had one.
For approximately 15 minutes to talk about a possible real estate transaction. We will not be anticipating making any decisions or anything like that, so we'll just adjourn once that meeting's done.
Okay.